All right, in this video we're going to go over on how to create your drawing, and that's what you're going to be uploading in the final video here. All right, so in the previous videos we've gone over how to create a project folder and the pieces. Second video we went over how to assemble. Third video we went over how to use that assembly in an exploded view. And this video we're going to be doing basically putting all of it together so you can upload the actual product. So I'm going to go ahead and hit File, New. And in this case, we're going to go into our drawing capabilities. So standard IDW, create. All right. And again, if you have this model browser off, you got to make sure to click this and choose that again. It's a lot different than what we have. So what we're going to do is we're going to be placing views. It's almost like drawing electronically, but you've already created the images. So basically, it's kind of like pasting in and detailing. So the first thing we're going to do is hit base, and you should be in your Clothespin folder. We're going to use the assembly first. Okay, so hit open. Now, with that being said, while I have this up here, we want to use the assembly to try to give the audience, the reader, whomever, an idea of what it looks like in overall dimensions before we break it down. You'll see that the scale is 1:4. This is just a slightly too small for that, so maybe we can go 1/4 to 1/4. So let's go 0.35. Okay, that should be okay. It's a little big, but whatever. So we're gonna hit OK. So now I have what we call our front view. Okay, and the top that I'm going to create and the right side are attached to the front view, you'll see, and then we're going to also create an isometric view shaded. So I'm going to go ahead and hit projected. Okay, if it doesn't automatically select it, you can go ahead and click on the piece there. So I'm going to place the top by left clicking, isometric, and right side. You see these three green things, that means you've placed them, so I'm going to right click and hit create. Okay, so now if I click and drag, see these little red ant trails, I call them dashes, whatever you want to refer to them as. If I move the front, I move both the top and the right hand side. All right, so I'm going to go ahead on the ant trails for the isometric. I'm just going to simply double click and I'm going to shade, and that's all you do with the isometric. You don't do anything else to it. All right, so with that, we're going to go ahead and we are going to then dimension all of the overalls. Okay, so in that, annotate, dimension, and we can't just do simple lines anymore. So we actually have to go from line to line. So I'm going to click on the left side, go over here, click on the right side, move up, click once more. Okay, we want to place all of our dimensions towards the other views, which is good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on here, zoom out, zoom in, click on here, and boom. All right. All right, so we have the 2050. Now, this particular drawing is going to have a lot more detail in regards to it, but we can kind of copy what we see in our project instructions. All right, I do not need to break down each piece. I just simply need to give overall. So last but not least, we're going to do the overall thickness. Now again, make sure to stay away from these little green dots. They're menacing. Sometimes you hit one and you don't want to, and it just doesn't do anything for you. Okay, so I've got a 150 there. One other thing that you need to dimension on this as well is the actual curve, that little fillet that we did, and that's where the little green dots kind of show up a lot. But you want to click on the edge, zoom out a little bit, and make sure to record that R.06. That's the radius that we put on for the fillets. Okay, now with this, like I said, this has a little bit more in regards to our documentation of what this assembly should be. We still have to dimension in between here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click inside and click inside. All right, now I could just double click on this piece and it brings up an edit dimension. If you have it already popping up, go ahead and just uncheck the box, and I could put TYP. Okay, what that means is the gap in between pieces is going to be the same. All right, so that's one example of what you can do, or you can simply just do all three of them. You could also put ×3 as well, but it's, or 4 of them, I'm sorry. But it just, as long as you understand that we're communicating all the location sizes of your items and whatnot. Okay, so this is the first piece. We're then done with the assembly view. Now we're going to go ahead. I'm going to press escape on my keyboard, get rid of the dimension tool, and I'm going to go ahead back to place views. I'm going to click on new sheet, and I'm going to do the same kind of exact thing for each piece. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start off base. We're going to go find what we want to do. So let's do the side. No, let's just do the middle. We'll just stay top to bottom here. Okay, open. Check out what kind of size it is on the panel here. This is can be bumped up, I think. Let's try 0.75. That'll work. Okay, 0.75. Hit projected. Click on the piece. 1, 2, 3. Right click, create. Okay. Double click and shade this again right here. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into annotate and dimension. Now, if you try to annotate just this line, it's actually going to come up short. All right. And the reason for that is because of these curves. So I'm going to escape my dimension tool. I'm going to click on this and delete it. And then I'm going to go back into my dimension tool and I'm going to go line to line. So click on the left side, click on the right side, boom. Click on the top, click on the bottom, over. Perfect. Okay. Also need to get the thickness. Now I did it last time I did it on the top. I'm just going to show you how to do it on the right. So click on one line, other line, up. And then last but not least, let's not forget to do or remind people of the radius. Now in this case, I'm going to go ahead again, double click on that, TYP it, because there's a lot of rounds on this piece. There's 4 of them. So that's that. And we're going to just rinse and repeat. Same exact thing. Go ahead and place view, new sheet. And you'll notice on the sheets here, you can go ahead and expand these, but I'm going to go ahead base. But yeah, you can see all of the information, pertinent information, what kind of, or what part it is. So we're going to hit side is the next one. This could be bumped up slightly, 0.625 maybe. Perfect. Okay, there's no right or wrong. Okay, just get it in there. Projected, top, isometric, right click, create. Shade, dimension. So we'll do the thickness here. A lot of times your front view is going to have a lot more dimensions. Okay. All right, so we got that, and then again, gotta stay away from those. Oh, got a dimension again. Dimension. I must have hit something weird. Boom. All right, so I got that. Place views, new sheet, same thing over again. So this is top and bottom. That'll work. Position it here. Project 1, 2, 3. Right click. Create. Double click. Shade. And we're off to dimensioning again. So you can see that this is slightly repetitive on this stuff, but it is also important that you have different, it may have the same shape, but it has different sizes. So TYP, done. All right, so now we've got all of our, basically all of our meat and potatoes here. Okay, so sheet number 1, if I, gotta get out of the dimension tool here. Sheet number 1, if I double click, I can go and see it. All that good stuff. So you got all that. Last one is, I'm gonna go ahead and place views, new sheet. It's gonna tack onto the bottom. We are actually gonna do a base, but it's gonna be different. In this case, we're gonna grab our exploded view, and that's what it looks like. and we'll hit open. And with that, okay, this is the only view that you're going to need. So what we are going to do is we're going to increase this scale. So let's try to go 0.20, double size. Ooh, perfect. Okay, so it was 1/10. I just bumped it up to 2/10 or 1/5, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to hit OK. All right, so I'm going to double click, make sure this is shaded. Yep, that is. And then you can kind of move this around. You're going to need some space around it because we're going to add what we call balloons in a parts list. So under there, I'm going to hit annotate, and I'm going to choose balloon. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on something that's going to pop up and say, hey, where are you getting these pieces from? And as long as it says your assembly, that's exactly what we want. Because remember, we made our pieces separate, then in the assembly we brought it all together. So what it's asking for is that same file, that singular file. So Clothespin assembly. It's going to say, yep, do you wish to enable the bill of materials view? Yes, exactly. So now that I'm clicked onto this piece, you'll see my balloon. I'm going to left click. Okay, and I can click again. But once I left click that first one, I'm going to right click and hit continue. You'll notice that this balloon has a number. Okay, and that's going to pertain to a parts list. All right, so this might be looking familiar. So click on the object, move outward, left click again, right click, continue. And this is what you're going to do for the whole thing. Again, click on the piece, out, move out, left click, right click, continue. Left click, right click, left click, right click, continue. Left click, right click, continue. Okay, so now once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and hit escape, get out of my balloon tool. Let's move this just slightly over. Okay, and the last part is we're going to get a parts list. Okay, and again, what we want to do is find the assembly. Okay, so Clothespin assembly, and then hit OK. And you're going to get a little box. So what it did is it went to your assembly, and in a table, it put together all of your pieces. And this might look familiar. Okay, so parts list, it says Clothespin middle, top and bottom and side. It's got how many the quantity or how many items you have. And then as my mouse comes over the edges here, I'm just going to double click. And you'll see in the description here, okay, I can then go ahead and put numbers in. So I know the clothespin middle was 0.75 inches x or by 1.5 inches by 18 inches. Okay. And then the top and bottom was also 0.75 inches by 2 inches by, I think it was it 18 and a half? No, it's got to be 18. Okay. And then last but not least, 0.75 by inches by 1.5 inches by 20.5 inches. Okay. So once you hit OK, you should see that description up in the box, and you are officially done. So if you look back, we went from basically starting everything to assembling it, to creating a crazy animation explosion. Now we're into the final pieces, and this is the actual document that you are going to upload for your project, which you'll find in the next video. So I appreciate your time, and I'll see you then.